I think it's hilarious that if you go back and read the comments from that mustache video, it's as if some people thought that was real. If you haven't, please do. There's people who are actually giving me advice on the mustache. They thought it was real. Please do if you haven't. It's hilarious. Now, speaking of comments, we have the biggest comment I've ever responded to on my channel here. And even then I've highlighted certain parts of it. We got a lot of information to cover, and I believe this is a conversation at least worth having, at least discussing. Even if you completely disagree with it, I think at least to listen to it so you can check it off, I think that's important. So let's get to work. Tony Montana, this is not the first time I've done a video based on one of his comments. The video I made yesterday, 5 months after starting rosemary oil for hair loss. So here's an excerpt of his comment. He says, quote, "I bet if you keep using it for the rest of your life, then you will be able to keep the hair you have. I did a lot of research, and hair loss seems to be a problem with the lymphatic system. It happens when people consume too many mucus-forming foods like dairy products. The mucus buildup affects different people in different ways. Some people get skin conditions, others get inflamed joints, others get hair loss. Apparently, when the kidneys are not filtering properly, then the toxins get pushed out through other exits like the skin, scalp. If the toxins leave through the scalp, then it will shed the hair as a result. I also remember that you mentioned certain ethnicities like Europeans are the most bald, or most likely to go bald. I think this is related to diet, because apparently Native American Indians are the least bald, and guess what they eat? Super healthy, and they avoid dairy products. Greek men almost always go bald due to their regular cheese intake. But now that I'm dairy-free for over a year now, the hair loss and the dandruff and my acne stopped. I eat mostly plant-based and with very little meat, oil, and no dairy. I hypothesize that the main culprit is the mucus. What are your thoughts? I would really like to know. Thanks." Okay, end quote. So there we go. I know that's a lot of information, but we needed to talk about this. Now, you may be surprised. I actually largely agree with Tony on this. For those of you who are fairly new to my channel, I know this sounds crazy, but I'm a vegan. And I've been one for a while, since March 2013, so over 4 years now. I've been a strict vegan. So no meat, no dairy, no cheese. All I eat is vegetables, fruits, grains, beans, nuts, and seeds. If it falls in that category, I eat it. If not, I don't. And I've been very faithful to do that for over 4 years. So I think I'm a great person to respond to this, because there are so few vegan men in America. There are so few of us. We're less than 1% of America. A fraction. I'm very rare. Very, very rare. So I can relate to this. I had much worse acne before I cut out dairy. I had dyshidrosis, which is the reason I became a vegan, to help get rid of that, which it worked. Imagine having dyshidrosis, which is a form of psoriasis, for years, and I could barely even use my hands at one point, and it all went away after I cut out dairy. So yeah, absolutely, it only makes sense. Mucus is basically there to kind of expel foreign things from the body there, and so when you're sick, you get more mucus. We all agree, right? So it only makes sense if you're consuming dairy products, which coming from the mammary glands, the endocrine system, technically that's like mucus itself. So if you're consuming dairy products, you're consuming another species mucus. Of course, your own human body is going to fight off the foreign mucus. So yeah, obviously, and I can say this, when I cut out dairy, it was the weirdest thing. And I just tried cutting out dairy for a weekend. It was the weirdest thing. It was like all this plasma just started leaving my nose. It was like this jelly, bloody, yellow, green stuff. And all weekend it came out and drained. And since then, my severe acne went away, my psoriasis went away, and my pet allergies went away. So yeah, I absolutely believe that if you cut out dairy, you're gonna see some kind of result from it. Maybe not the same kind I've had. It's different from all people, like you already said. But now we had to establish that to get to this point. he's saying, can we relate this to hair loss? Can we relate this to ethnicity? He's saying that, you know, Native Americans, and I want to extend that to Asians, all Asians, because I've mentioned this so many times. Asians are the least likely to be able to grow facial hair, but they're also the most likely to be able to keep most of their hair well into the 50s and 60s and beyond. And it is true, I spent 2 summers teaching English in Thailand, and I saw that firsthand, and that's what really kind of started all this in my mind. And it is true, they don't eat dairy. It's just against their culture. They don't eat dairy. They will quickly tell you, oh, you'll get fat if you eat dairy. That's what they'll say. They shy away from dairy. And if they do, they treat it like it's some kind of special thing. So it's interesting, yeah, that the cultures, like Asian cultures that stray away from dairy, also have the most hair as far as men going on into their age. So it makes sense. And yeah, I get it that Greeks, okay, maybe who else, what other cultures eat a lot of dairy and they're also bald? Like, I see the connection, I totally do. So I'm with you all the way on that. Even if I've lost most people watching this video, even they're like, now Nick's crazy. I didn't realize he was that crazy, but now I realize he is. Here's the only thing though about this theory that doesn't quite add up for me. So in former videos, I've showed you how my hair has progressed over the years. I've showed you pictures of Facebook and I think even MySpace and showed you how it's progressed. Now, we know that since age, so I'm 36 now, so that means 4 years ago, I was 30, I had just turned 32 when I became a vegan. So you can see pictures of me at age 32, and I had a little bit more volume and my hairline didn't go back that far. So what I'm presenting to you is, I've actually still lost hair since becoming a vegan. So if this theory was true, then why did I still lose hair since cutting out all dairy for the past 4 years? It seemed like I should have at least kept all of it. And even if it took several months to, I don't know, to recalculate or whatever. So I want to believe that there's something valid about this, that dairy is the culprit of men's hair loss, because I can see how it lines up to ethnicities and what people eat in their own countries. I get that. But I just think that I shouldn't have lost any hair since age 32 if that were the case. And I definitely have experienced more thinning, and my hairline didn't do that when I was 32. So I'd be curious to know your thoughts. I expect you to say that I'm crazy. Please know, I expect you to think I'm crazy.